We got this.
Ready?
We got this.
Okay, let's do it.
Ready?
Yep.
This is so weird. I just want to say it. So hello guys and welcome back to the SayMore podcast, episode 20, live in action. Whoop, whoop. This is wild. I can't stop smiling because I'm like, the hell?
I know it's a little bit unreal because we spoke about it so much the last recent couple days, especially yesterday. It's been like go crazy, especially trying to book something with our prep and everything has been not challenging, but you know how it gets. Like everything adding on to our Olympia prep is like a little bit much. Yeah.
Happy 9 weeks out, by the way.
I know. Phoebe's always here with a number. Thank you. But now I'm following the track because when you're, dialed in with the single digits, that's when it hits. So
like where the time went, I'm like, where has the time gone?
Girl, I know.
Like I was joking, telling you before, like, 20 weeks out. And you're like, oh, stop. And now I'm like, we are single digits. We're 9 weeks out.
I know. It's crazy. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I feel good today. Like we obviously did the glute camp and right now if anyone's listening, obviously on Spotify, you can't see image or anything. We're live together right now. And we've got about 30 people in front of us, which is actually crazy and wild. But we had a glute camp this morning and I actually feel really good. Like I feel, I was up at 5, went to bed like 10 o'clock because I was like, I need to go to bed early-ish. And then
just get as much sleep as we can. Like we know how much like sleep is important, like especially today. When I get back home, there was like no talking, no doing. I was like, I just need my hours of sleep. Like every single minute is going to be important for today. So I'm glad we're up. And
how are you feeling though? You feeling good?
Babe, I'm good. Yeah. I'm good. I mean, I'm like hosting you, So like I have like, I'm always like checking on you, see if everything you're okay and everything. But no, I feel like we've been doing that so many times. Like I don't feel it's our first time, but it's special. It's really special because we have an amazing audience, amazing women, amazing ladies. So I can't wait to hear the question, what they have for us. Because
I'm kind of nervous, not gonna lie. I'm not nervous to see
Phoebe's always nervous because there's like no outline. Like, and we honestly, we were like, okay, are we gonna outline this podcast? And the idea initially to the podcast was to have her and I catch up and feel like you girls are just joining for a coffee. And today is going to be no different. The only difference is going to be not us preparing the questions before and not knowing what you girls are going to ask. So you're going to have our reaction live and in person. So I think that's going to bring a little dimension to it. So what's up, babe?
Yeah.
Like what else is new? Like you have updates and stuff?
I mean, updates, no. Like for 9 weeks out and stuff, I think we've been going really steady the last couple of weeks and it's felt nice. I think the last week we've amped things up a little bit more. So we're now kind of increased cardio, decreased a little bit of food, and like I can feel that now. So obviously I went on a trip and stuff to Canada and all that type of thing, which was great, loved it. It was a lot of fun. And then we kind of decreased. So I was telling you before, we decreased cardio to just kind of almost like encounter for that. Like, cause I was traveling so much and moving and doing a lot. So I was like, okay, now we're pushing. Now it's 9 weeks out. Now we're pushing a little bit harder. We've got more cardio. We've got less food. And it feels more real. Like, last podcast, we were kind of like speaking like, now we're envisioning. Now we're saying this. Now we're doing that. That's like an everyday thing now. Like we're on cardio machine. The last week I've literally been, since we had the conversation last podcast about, top 2 and people saying like, where do you think we'll place? Where do you think we'll do in the Olympia? I've been envisioning harder because I didn't before. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's very like real now. Like, okay, like it's creeping in. Like on cardio when it gets hard, I'm like, right, we need to really push now. We need to focus on what we want to do, where we want to be. Because I want more this year. Like, and I think we've both spoken about that before. So
I know. I'm definitely excited for you. I think. Do you want to share kind of the plan, like your mindset, where it's at right now?
I think yeah. Like my mindset's in a good, strong place. I don't think self-doubt has crept in much this prep, if I'm honest, which has actually been really nice because I think at the beginning it always seems to creep in a little bit where you're like, can I actually do that? But I think because more people have kind of believed in me and believe that I can do it, I'm more like, okay, if they believe that I can do it, like I can. Do you know what I mean? Like I can achieve what I want to achieve and I've done it before. Like I've broken the top 10. I've won shows. Like I can do that again potentially, So
yeah, it's crazy. I never know where and when you're actually going to reach that spot where you're like, okay, I'm just good. I'm just good where I can trust the process. I'm just good where I can just let it go and let the process be. And it took a while. Like it's, Kim and I have been working for so many shows together, and I can say, like, safe to say, it's our first prep that I'm just like, you take the reign. I just do. Don't think, just do. And I just do, and it feels so good. And I've told you about before, like, the worst thing that can happen to me is getting inside my head and just start doing more cardio. Like when it hits the 40 minutes, that's what I have on my plan. 40 minutes, I do 41, okay? But at 40 minutes, I'm stopping the cardio, and then that's it. I'm doing my training, and I stop, and I'm just executing, and I'm being able to be a lot more present, in family, like being like a better daughter, like call my mom every day, like being more present as a sister and doing all these stuff. And I think I won't call it a balance, because I still don't seek balance into prepping or whatever, but to just be able to not have it cracked out of my mind all the time, 24/7, the Olympia. Like, I'm like, okay, no, I can still smile. I can still talk. I can still do like events. I can still be myself. And what I enjoy the most out of the sport now, and I don't know if it's because I'm closer to retirement than I used to, like to the beginning.
Yes.
You understand? Because that's where, I don't know like where you're at in your career, but like now I can see the end of the tunnel being like, okay, so now my prep are literally moments in my life that I'm creating from like 12 weeks out. So I'm like, every day is like a blessing. Every day is something good. It's not something that I'm going to be able to do like 10 more times.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, I have one Olympia, second one, and then that's pretty much it for me, So I have, like, to say that I have maybe 2 more Olympias like under my belt, it's crazy, and I already have 5, down the road. So it's I think that's also like everything that it is. I just feel that I'm in the right space, and it makes me think of, how can the girls achieve that mindset in their first show? Like, what I'm saying? Like, treat it as your first show ever and just trust the process. Like it resembles a lot. Like if you think about it, if I think about when I first started and now, it kind of looks alike. I'm just a lot older.
No, yeah, 100%.
But the wisdom is kind of the same, because now I know everything, and it's like before I didn't know anything, but I still feel like I don't know anything. Does that make sense?
I'm you're still learning. Like along this journey, you're still learning.
Right.
Because each prep, like we always say, each prep is different. So it's not like you can treat last year's prep the same as this year, because your body's different, you're different, your mindset's different.
Yeah.
You're in a different space. All of that, I'm literally like, yes, like everything in terms of like, because we're closer to not finishing, because we don't know when we're finished. We could keep going for 5 years, we could keep going for 2 years, but we don't know that. But treating it like it's our last, that makes me, in a way, put in even more effort into this, being like, oh, I can just do it next year. Like, it's fine, I'll just do it next year. Why not put it in all now and treat it like it's your last?
Yeah, with happiness and
Yeah,
fun. Yeah,
100%.
Right?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love, and the fact that you're more present as well, I think that's something that I've been doing as well. Like, obviously, I've done a lot of trips the last couple of weeks and stuff, but I've made sure that I saw my dad. I've made sure that I've seen like my friends, like my family, and still done stuff instead of just being, okay, room, gym, sleep, that's it. Because like, that's not who I am. Like, I don't want prep to take over who I am. Do you know what I mean? Like, prep is part of me, but it's not everything about me. And that's something I think we're both very like good at. Obviously, don't get me wrong, when we're close, like now we're getting close. Obviously, there's things that we'll need to, bring down. Okay, I can't go for dinner now, like, or I can't go for coffee because I'm tired, I have to prioritize sleep, I have to get my cardio in. That's fine. But just doing that from the get-go, from like, I don't know, 16, 20, whatever weeks out, and being like, I can't see anyone. Like, don't talk to me, it's prep. That's not me. That's not us. Like, I don't think that should be anyone. You want to obviously prioritize, but don't let it become everything who you are.
Just because it doesn't have to be. Like,
yes.
I think there's a healthy way to do the sport, and it's just, it won't get you more.
Yeah.
Like, it won't get you more of a first place because you've cut everything out of your life. And like, we spoke about that on the podcast so many times before. And it's still a work in progress. It's been a work in progress, but I think now, because everything around me is kind of like very rock solid, and people are aware, and people that I have around me respect my boundaries. They understand the sport. I've communicated. I found, I did the work myself too. Like, I went to see like a therapist, like to help me with my communication and be more assertive with the people around me so they could understand. And then I could figure out, okay, well, this is how I show up inside your life, you know, as right now I'm 12 weeks out from a show and it's part of my life and it is, and I'm more tired, I'm more this, I'm more that. But, you know, having people understanding that and be happy for you, it just helps you like thrive and make everything so much easier. And I want to say the difference between the Olympia last year and the Olympia now, you can't really tell that I'm prepping. Like people would be like, oh, you're prepping? Yeah, 9 weeks out. And it's just because the energy is so stable. And I remember after the Olympia, it was like, I don't know, like 13th show of the year. It was crazy. And then I had 10 more weeks to go. And Aldo kind of like set himself at a certain tone. I was like, he would ask me like, how many weeks out are you? I'm like, how do you like don't know how many weeks out I am? Like we're in this together, but he did that on purpose to like keep us so like steady and like at energy level where like I don't feel pressure because I'm so empath that I feel the energy, and if the pressure is there, and then there's more like people around me, more people looking at me. There's like the videographers and all these things that I want to do. But if I cannot control the pressure that it gives me and like the comments on Instagram and all these things, the big picture is the Olympia.
Yeah.
And I miss the ball last year. So I don't want to do that thing. So the Arnold was like literally me, like just, you know, still doing my content, but very easy peasy, casually, and just like having it inside my life, like in a happy, healthy way. So we're keeping the same vibe and Kim is on board. And I hope, you know, you've been working with Adam for a while, so I don't know if you guys have like agreements on the way you guys communicate or
like I think like, everything you said there in terms of like your last year versus this year, like I think I very much feel the same in terms of pressure. Like if I feel there's too much pressure, that's why I think last year for me anyway, I feel like I thrived so much and we, you know, came in early, my body was ready, like I was happy because we didn't kind of, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that. It's this, like crunch time now. Like I was like, I'm going in there with expectations for myself, but like almost no expectation because at first Olympia, I was like, I don't know what to expect at this point. You never know what can happen. So I was like, I'm just going to bring my absolute best I can do and see what happens, go from there. And I think that's the same kind of vibe this year, but it's still like, now it's in the back of my head. I'm like, okay, now I know I can achieve this, but I now want more. So that's why I feel like I didn't have as much pressure last year. I feel like I have more pressure this year. Like we were talking about before. Yeah. But it's not overwhelming.
When
like I don't feel overwhelmed
I feel when
now.
you say you want more, it's just you want more longevity to do more, to actually like do more shows, be more present, like doing other things and not shutting it down because we've been all in at the Olympia. I mean, we were together backstage at the Olympia, and I mean,
so much fun.
It was kind of a exhausting Olympia. We had like
it was a lot.
We were sugar rush. Like we don't count. We don't count. But
so when she said sugar rush, it's because there was so many cookies backstage, and we were going full ham on them. So that was quite funny. I'm not gonna lie. But
other than that, like I didn't really see you at all prejudging because there was so many people.
Hectic, though. We were both in the zone as well.
I know, and then it just became like. Everyone felt like exhausting. It was kind of like at the finals, everyone was like exhausted. They felt like that too because there was so many pressure, like all the way to go through. Yeah. That I don't know. I just feel that this time around is gonna be different. Everybody's gonna be rested. Everyone is not, you know. Thank God for Tyler that just posted this video about shape and form and fullness. I think it's not gonna be the same. Like we're not gonna go and dig as deep as we did for. It's going to be digging deep, but different, you know,
in a different way.
Not the same conditioning because that conditioning that we had and we had to hold for like
a long time. Yeah.
That's what's draining. So
no, I think this year's Olympia for both of us is very different. And I think it's good because we know what they want from us a little bit more. I mean, each year we know what they want from us, but there's always still stuff that we can, you know, pick up on and do better and stuff. But I think this year is different. Like it feels different for me anyway. Yeah. Like I feel so much more at peace in a good sense, but like a good amount of, like we were talking about before, a good amount of pressure where it's not too overwhelming, but a bit of pressure to kind of give me a kick up the arse in a way, if that makes sense. Yeah. So, and I feel like that's it should be like that in a way, like gives you a little bit of a kick, but like, no, I want this. Like if it's too calm, whereas like there's like nothing, I feel like it doesn't feel real in a way. Like I like that little bit of rush. Like when they were saying obviously last time about, you know, top 2 or where could you place? I was like, that gives me a bit of a rush. Like, let's go. Like, I think that's nice having that amount of pressure sometimes.
Yeah, just putting yourself at a certain standard and like you don't settle. Like
Yeah.
when I say standard, like and I show with my hand like higher is because we put it higher. Like
Yeah.
we know what to reach to become that person and how to show up. I think we really have a clear vision of that. I think it's about taking the reins and taking the control. And I think Kim lets me do that a lot, and he gives me confidence that I can do that by my own.
Yeah.
And I can be my own standard, and I can be like, I don't have to be the more lean or like this and that, or like be everything that everyone else wants to see in me. But like, what do I want? How do I want to show up into people's life? And to be honest, Phoebe, if I show up on that stage and my feedback is that I'm not conditioned enough, but I feel my freaking best, and I'm like in the mirror like a week out, and I'm like, holy crap, this is the best shape that I've ever looked. This is it. I would be happy with a 10th place. Like I would cry, but I would like also be happy. I would also be like, you know what? I'm good. Yeah. I'm good because at the end of the day, like, look at this. Like, look at in front of us. Like, it's that's for me is my why. Like, that's where I'm coming back home to. And that's where I thrive. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. Oh God. Okay. So
are you ready for the question? I'm so ready for these girls.
I know. Yeah.
Ladies,
to be fair,
actually.
you were so nervous, and you were like, I'm a bit nervous, and I was like, you're thriving now. Like I could see it. You're getting into it now, and I'm like, let's go. Okay. So we're just going into our Ask More segment of the podcast. So we're going to take. Obviously, for anyone listening on the podcast that can't see us right now, we're just about to take questions from the live audience in front of us. And I guess we're just going to literally get you guys to put your hands up, and we're just going to pick kind of like a school. So who has, I guess, the first question that they want to ask Phoebe? Okay.
And how was your first time
So how old was...
When you first started?
When we first started.
Yes, great question, by the way. Thank you so much for breaking the ice.
Yeah. So I was 21 when I did my first show and when I first started. When I first started with competing was my first show, I was 21. And my first time in a gym, I think I was like, I want to say like 17, 18. So I wasn't like young, because I see people now.
You're kind of a late starter. Yeah. It shocks me. Like,
because I'm 28 now.
I mean, I'm 27. I don't understand your timeline. Like, it's so weird.
No, 21. So yeah, 21. So 21. I mean,
Yes.
when I say getting into the gym at like 17, 18, like I wasn't bodybuilding for a while. Like I only started bodybuilding probably when I was like 20. So I had a year really, like 6 months, 8 months. And then we did our first show when I was 21. So
first show 21, and then when did you get, what was
Pro card. It was 2 years in 2018, so 2 years later, so 23.
And then the first Olympia?
First Olympia literally last year.
Holy crap. That's crazy. And how many shows have you done?
I want to say like 30 something.
Yeah, over.
37 shows, I think.
So many shows.
A lot. So it was like, what about you?
So first competed 17 years old, actually. Little
17
baby.
when you competed?
Yeah, the first show was 17. And in Canada is a little bit different. You know how UK works.
Yeah.
But earned my pro card in 2018. And my first Olympia was 2019, actually. Because I won my God, I'm lying so much right now. My timeline is so off. Okay, no, so I started at 17 years old. I turned pro in 2016. So my first show was in 2015. I turned pro in 2016. My pro debut was 2017. I did my pro debut in Toronto Pro. I finished second place after Michelle Sylvia.
Yeah.
And then I went, my first pro show was in Miami.
Woo!
Yeah, Miami, actually, right here. And then I had no more money. So I needed to take off for the rest of the year, 2017. And then 2018, that's when I did my Toronto Pro, one Toronto, one Chicago, one Tampa Pro. Qualified for the Olympia with the most point that I could have.
Yeah.
Was 40, something, 41.
Yeah.
First Olympia, second place, and then the rest is history. It just went on and on. And then first Olympia, second place in 2018, then 2019, fourth, 2020, fifth, 2021 second, 2022 25th, and then you're never out of the top 5.
2023.
But the hashtag is JM and I. We always laugh because he's like, no more bridesmaid. Because like you get like every like pictures, I'm like here, you know, I look like the bridesmaid. But
oh my god,
yeah, that's the hashtag.
I didn't know what that meant for some reason. That makes sense. Well, no more bridesmaids.
Yeah, no more bridesmaids.
2023
NMB.
counting.
Yeah, so 6th Olympia this year, back to back. A little bit crazy. Yeah.
That's wild.
I know.
That is wild. I
And
remember
27.
I remember the streak as well. Like when you did it was like the Toronto and then like your 3 wins and then second at your first Olympia. I was like, who was this girl? Like who was this? Like she came out and you didn't come out of nowhere, but I was like,
kind of.
Yeah.
Like
that's
she
came
the
out of nowhere.
dark
Where
horse
is she? Like
comes
yeah,
up-
and
comes
that's
up, yeah.
cool though. Like it's insane that you came out of nowhere to like now you have such an impact on the industry.
Yeah, I think honestly, I've been realizing it the last year or so because there's so many girls that ask like, you know, I'm this age. Am I starting too late? Am I this? I'm like, that year I literally cracked. I beat all veterans, like all veterans that has been on the top 5 for like the last 6 years, and I just came out of nowhere, literally. So everything is possible.
Yeah.
Like. No age, no language that you speak, anything. If you love bodybuilding, if you're passionate about it, and you do what you got to do,
You can make it work.
you can. My God, you can crack it. You can crack it open. Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that question.
Thank
That was a
you for
good
that
one.
question.
Okay, next question. Who's next? Okay, do you want to pick?
No, you pick, baby.
Okay, here. Okay, so the biggest change in our mindset for competing, and was the big shift with what was the big shift with that? Give me a second. I'm like,
Thank you, Bailey, for coming.
that
by
was
the
a
way.
good, that
Thank
was
you
a
for
great that was a great question.
Canadian. Hey.
Yeah. hey.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I think it's more believing in myself, like I was talking about before.
Yeah.
Like when I said before about like, oh, like I only just started believing in myself. It took me a while to get here.
Do you feel like you can like? Are you like faking it though? Like, are
But
you?
even still now, I'm probably
Yeah.
like 60, 40, you know, like 40% like doubting, 60% like, yeah, we're good. Like there is always going to be self-doubt, I think, there, because it feels impossible sometimes when you like, in terms of competing. Like I think, so when I first started competing, obviously in 2016, it was actually Max that not made me, but he said, do you know what? You should do a show. You got the shape for it. Why not? Give it a go. Loved it. And I think from that point, I was like, yeah, I always believe in myself. I think the higher you climb though, like we were talking about before, I think the less I've kind of thought it was possible in a way. Because I think I would never make it to the Olympia. There's no way in hell. It's the biggest show in the world. There's no way I can get there. Generally, that was my mindset, like for a lot of my pro like career. Because I was like, there's no way. Because for my journey especially, it took me 4 years to get to the Olympia. So it took a while. So year after year, and I see people, you know, compete and get to the Olympia, get to the Olympia. I was like, maybe it's just not made for me. Like, maybe it's just not my end game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it never make you stop though. So like, there's something there. There's something that fuels you about the impossible or like the disbelief, like in little doses.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I think the mindset shift for me anyway was like trying to shut up that person that was like keep like in the back of your mind, like you can't do it, like because I really can. And I think especially like for me, a big change was like other people are believing in me, then realizing that I can believe in myself. I think that for me, that's the main thing that's helped shift my mindset, is just being like, stop being so hard on yourself in a way, because there's so much that you can do, and like you are the one that in your own way. Ultimately, if you're saying, oh, I can't do it, you won't do it, and then that's you, and you've stopped. You're in your own way, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? And I think in my own mind, if that was the reason I'd stopped, I would be so devastated. Like I'd regret that hugely. Like if I was older, looking back on my years and being like, oh, I could have done like one more show, or I could have done more this. Like that is my worst fear. Like could have, would have, should have. Like that's one of my worst fears. So I think like that in itself makes me want to push more, and like I think that was a huge mindset shift for me in terms of competing and stuff.
Proving yourself wrong.
Yeah,
like
100%.
And you need to do it every day. It's like it's a work that you need to do every
It's
day.
not like 1 day it will feel
otherwise that
fine.
little girls is creeping, and like if you have your period, it's creeping even like
Yeah.
harder in your mind. Yeah, Yeah, I get it. I agree with you.
So, I mean,
agree
what
with
was
you.
yours?
I think my mindset shift, and it sounds so cheesy, so cheesy, but just grateful, just being grateful. Shit, like this sport is hard. This sport is freaking hard. But the fact that we can walk, the fact that we have the freedom to do what we do, and I know like most of you have a 9 to 5 job or like even 9 to 9 or like have a family and there's so many things, but damn, to be able to eat our chicken and rice and like push through and seeing our body change, like it's freaking special. And if you treat it as a special day and like take it as an opportunity, like it sounds so cheesy because I feel like that's what I've heard like at the beginning of my sport, like the opportunity, like, but it's so true.
Yeah.
Like it's so true. And I wake up every day and I'm like, damn, let's go.
Because we choose to do this as well. Like this is a choice. Like we choose to do bodybuilding at our own leisure. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not, no one's forcing us to do this. So that sometimes in itself for me is like a case of like, we can do this on our own terms, you know? No one's forcing us to do it.
Yeah.
We can do it at our own way.
Yeah.
And like, I think sometimes, obviously, yeah, it's hard. Like you said, it's hard, but
We have a little bit more of a force bill. I feel that I have more admiration for people that are amateurs because like that's when you really choose to like make it for you.
Yeah.
When you're a pro, like we have other, not agreements, but it's like, would I not show up to the Olympia? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it obviously brings me to you, like when you had the courage to like not do the Arnold. And I told you on the phone, I'm like, damn, like that, I'm going to admire you for the rest of my life because it takes so much freaking courage because I could never do that. I could never do that. Like I know that I went to some of the shows and I didn't look my best, but I still showed up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if today being the woman that I am and like knowing who I want to be and what I want to represent, I think I would be, and I'm saying that and I'm not really sure, so don't quote me on this, but I think I'd be like, I'm not showing up at the Olympia this year just because this is not how I want people to see me. Or, okay, I want people to see this, but let me explain the background of like the life and stuff. But you know what? Competing is so hard because it's a matter of a day. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of like showing up that day, and I could have the best prep and the 100%, and then show day, there's, cortisol for me. I don't get enough sleep. I don't, and it's not exactly how I want to show up. And then what am I going to say? Oh, like excuses. No, it's just, okay, that's the show in the book. We got it done. And then on to the next one. But yeah, I have a lot of admiration for like amateurs that are just like making it a thing. And I'm looking back how much I wanted it in the beginning. And the desire of competing is the same, but it's different stakes, you know? I still don't know how I did it as an amateur, like with the snow and like the storm and like getting to the gym like before everybody and then shower at the gym, like bringing my clothes, forgetting my meals. If I forget my meals, I don't eat all day, go back home, eat, like, it's like, like what I've done is so crazy that now I think I've obviously reached a point where I'm like,
it's clockwork.
Grateful, but I'm just like, let's go. Like I'm happy about it. I wake up like on my 2 feet and I'm like, I'm excited for this day. I'm excited for my cardio, even if it sucks. Like I'm not like happy doing my cardio. It's tough, but I'm like, shit, this is the grit. That's what it takes, It's so cool. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That was a very good question. Thank you so much. Okay, next question. Okay,
So many.
My name's Shelby. I'm from New Mexico.
Hi, Shelby.
My question is,
Ooh. So
I
the
like
accuracy.
that. Okay, so that question was, do you feel like you have to be present on social media to have a successful bodybuilding career? Yeah? Okay.
Is it either or you feel like it goes together? Like in it's a social media generation that we are in right now. Like, yeah, if it's part of the career to be a successful bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for the truth?
You go.
Ready for the truth? Okay. So bodybuilding is a poor man's sport, okay? Very difficult to just be a full-time bodybuilder and go home, go to the gym, train, and just expect to win from shows. And I'm speaking for bikini purposes, right? Men's a little bit different, but again, it's not trillions of dollars of contract that we can literally just be nobody and just go home and train. Trust me, I want this. And the day that is going to happen for us to have the ability to be a full-time athlete is going to be the best. Although I've always with my sponsor, any sponsor that comes with social media deliverables, what's realistic and what isn't. So if they come and they're like, we want 7 posts, we want 2 TikToks, I'm like, listen, I'm an athlete first. This is my priority first. I want the Olympia first. Am I gonna work at a booth before the Olympia? Absolutely not. You're never gonna see me at a booth before the Olympia. Even though it's in my contract, even if they were gonna pay me $1,000, I've worked my ass off, not for 16 weeks, for the Olympia, last 10 years of my life, the decade. Do you think I'm gonna, for $1,000? No. And there's different levels and a different desire. I've made agreements with myself where it's just like, I'm ready to cut in my paycheck for the bigger picture. Like I won the Miss Olympia because the Miss Olympia for me is this. It's gonna be this, but times 3. It's like the people that I have in front of me that I'm able to like speak on Miss Olympia behalf, the experience that I have. So that's why I'm putting all my money in living poorly, like without social media, in order to like achieve my biggest goal. With that being said, when I started for social media, I couldn't speak English. Like my French accent was so bad. It's still a little bit bad. I can hear it right now, actually. But I was like doing my stories back again, like 12 times. And then I was like, I need to just put this story out. And it was the beginning of like the stories was 2015.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, like F it, F it. If they accept me like I am with my accent, that's what it's going to be. And people are just going to get the raw me. And I just kept on going with being raw and genuine. And you girls, my setup is literally it's not even my tripod. It's like Aldo's tripod. Thankfully, he has one. And with my phone. And that's what you get because that's what I can deliver to you in the most raw and genuine way. And whenever I get an opportunity and like more money and funding for content, then of course I'm gonna give you girls like as much as I can as like on social media content. But there's gonna be a full week that you won't see any content from me because I'm just here busting my ass. And because it's not realistic for me to post content with smiley faces if I'm like going through something in my life. But I made peace with that. And my sponsor, I have amazing sponsors that have been with me for years now that they know Lauralie is about her freaking gym and her freaking grit. And we're not going to put her in pink outfits just for shows. Like she's, if she wants to wear hoodies, if she wants, she's in prep, like this and that, they respect that. And I'm very blessed, obviously, for sponsors, but I said no to like really big deals. Like if I was to say today and just cut it off and just be like, I don't want to be Miss Olympia anymore, I'm just going to do social media content. My God, I would make money, but would I feel accomplished? Like, would I feel it's my dream? It's been my dream for 10 years now. Yeah. And I've sacrificed so much, So money for me is nothing. The value isn't here. It's in what you guys get from me. And I just believe that once I reach the Miss Olympia, it's going to be like, damn, Lauralie did it. And because she freaking did it, like I'm going to be able to do it. That's my message.
Oh my God, fuck. Oh my God. I was so in I was just like this the whole time.
I love you.
Fuck.
I love you.
Oh my God. Because I've seen a lot. Like in terms of like
Fuck
what
yeah.
you had to put down and not do and like everything, like, fuck. Oh my God.
I love you.
Jeez. Okay. Well, yeah.
Deep.
I mean,
Deep.
you'll never see anyone in my eyes anyway, like say shit like that in terms of like, they will happily, like I've seen people as well take money over what they believe in. Do you know what I mean? And you will always try and put what you want first in terms of like, what is your goal? What is your dream? Who you are? And that's how I think it should always be. Like, and that's why I think we connect so well because we're two of the same people, you know? And I love that. Fuck.
I
Oh
love
my
you.
God.
I love you.
That was a good question.
You've seen
That's a very good question.
you've seen a lot. Like our
Yeah.
friendship is a little wild because I feel that
I've been there at very weird times as
Fuck,
well. That,
yeah.
You know, a lot of the ups and downs. But I think in general, like in short, that was perfect, if I'm honest. Like that would be the exact same for me. Like I haven't had, you know, massive contracts and all that sort of thing anyway. But if I was to ever have that, you know, I've just signed with someone recently and I've said like, look, this is what I want to do. I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to do that. And I think knowing what you can, like you said, deliver and what you want to put out there on your social media. Yes. If you like, do you feel like you could be more successful if you did put more out there? Do you think that?
girl, yeah.
I don't think you could though, because I think what you put out there now, the real raw you, is
longevity.
yeah.
I value what I'm doing being so real because I think that whatever clout is going on right now on social media, right? There's like people coming out and they're doing fake shit and lies. And people, it's all perception thing. Like you can only monetize from perception for so long because it's so hard to put a facade. There's people that are more skilled
Yeah.
too. I'm sure you have a name in mind, but whatever.
Yeah.
To do it for a long period of time. I can't even hold myself to like, look at me now. I can't even speak anymore. Like it would be so hard. So I accepted that. So do I think for a long time, would I even sleep with myself? I don't know. Like I would probably not even sleep. So like, could I keep doing, you know, it's like, it's always a catch-22.
Who would you be as a person? Who would you feel like, would you be happy with the person you were at the end?
Oh my God,
you know
no.
what I mean?
Like, you know, exactly. No.
Whew, that was a good question. Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm like, more like that? Jesus. Okay. Thank you for that question. That was
Thank
great.
you for the question.
Next question. Anyone? Yes, you. Oh, these are getting deep now.
Yeah,
These are getting deep now. I'm
These are
like,
good,
ooh.
yeah.
Yes, placings would mean like the world for me. And like you said, you've been working for this for so long. And I think that's a huge goal in your mind. And I love the fact that you don't have just the like what you want in mind, Miss Olympia in mind. You have all the other things along the way as well. And I feel like for me, weirdly saying this, like I think it's because I've never actually believed it. I think I could never be Miss Olympia or get even to the top placing of Olympia. I think I've always just wanted impacts. Like, how can I make an impact on people? How can I make them think? Like, what can I make them feel about themselves? Like, feeling. Like, either if it's sad, if it's anger, if it's happy, like, how can I make them generally think? Like, and that's always been a huge thing for me, I think.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to be remembered by. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think, I think for me, it's impacts. It's feeling. It's how they think about themselves. And, like, me getting to just, I think that, for me, that is it. Like,
you're definitely like a vibe girl, you know, like redemption shirt. Like you just by the word redemption, it makes you think it's like, wait, what am I redeeming myself for, you know? And now it's what's here to shock, right?
Here to shock.
Was it last year? What's this year?
That was this year. That's this year. So I was saying that a little bit like last year, like here to shock. Now I'm like, okay, here's to shock. Like now.
Here to
like,
shock for real.
I know. And I just want people to feel something about themselves and like what my journey is bringing to them. Because obviously each journey is so individual and different to everyone. Like it's not going to be like this the whole time. Like I think a lot of people think it is just going to be a steady straight line and you know, Phoebe does a pro show, she wins the pro show, she does this and she goes in and then that's it. It's like Phoebe goes to a pro show, she doesn't get what she wants, she doesn't get what she wants again and again and again and again. Then she gets what she wants, then she doesn't again, and
she faints on stage.
And then she faints on stage. Like she does so many things. Like it's not steady. But I think that journey in itself, I would hope, take an impact on others to then see, okay, Phoebe's gone through that. I can definitely go through that as well and still come out and get my goals that I want. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like for me, it's like seeing my entire journey be a fucking mess of what it is sometimes, but it still inspire you to get after your goals and get after whatever it is. It doesn't have to be competing. It could be anything. That's what I want to leave behind. Like, I just want to leave back fields and like drive for wanting people to get what they want.
Yeah.
So
get what you want, but also someone very, very dear in my heart once said, when I came into the sport, I came in and I want to come out with the same thing, meaning health-wise. like, you know, you want more as like, you know, if you get titles along the way, good for you. If you get more grit and like all the good things, yes, but you want to come in, ladies, with and leave the sport with the same thing that you have. Does that make sense? Health-wise, as much hair on your head that you had in the beginning, okay? So
Like everything.
Everything. And
What about you? What do you want to leave? What's your footprint that you want to
oh my
leave
God,
in this
we'll
journey?
see. We'll see. I think I'm not ready to answer that yet. I'm not. I think every day I'm leaving something
Yeah.
for one day being here and be like, this is what I'm giving to you.
Yeah.
But right now we're just building. We're just building.
I love that.
Yeah. Little one day at a time. One day
I
at a
love
time.
that.
But until then, you girls better believe in yourself. Because I'm telling you, if you don't, you DM me, I'm going to answer you back. That you better freaking show up for yourself and betting on yourself because we're alone. It's very lonely. It's a very lonely sport. I have you as a friend and like I'm very thankful for our friendship. But you know that I won't do your cardio for you, babe.
No.
Like you need
No,
to go.
exactly,
And you need to
exactly.
train and damn, you need to build that inside of you so strong. So strong because life doesn't stop. And it sucks because sometimes you would want, damn, just put it on pause for a quick sec because I need to go through prep, but it's not. And the judges won't be like, wait, you actually went through life too? Like we all do, okay? So just don't stop because beautiful things happen when you don't give up.
Yeah, yay! Of course. Okay, that was a great question.
That's a
Thank
reference
you.
to my Arnold
Yeah.
speech, by the way. That's
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was like,
everybody,
that sounds familiar.
People didn't catch it, but yeah.
That sounds very familiar. Okay, next question. Anyone else? Okay, you in the back.
Yeah, I had hands.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so the question was, if you could go back in time, what
Yes.
would you tell your what would your pro self tell your amateur self now?
Which you is unfair. It's like 21 years old. Like you're still kind of like
That's like
adult-ish.
Yeah, I know. I'm like that's.
I was
a while
a
ago.
children.
Yeah,
Like you're literally
I was
a child.
I was a children. I was a child.
An infant.
I mean, I would say like it sounds like super cheesy and it's kind of what I've really relayed like a lot in this kind of a whole podcast, but like go just fucking believe in yourself. Like honestly, because the shit I would tell myself over and over and over again because I didn't think generally any of it was like achievable, not competing wise, but what the career that I wanted to build, everything like that, like the sponsor that I wanted to get, like that would never happen to you. Like even last
But is it
week,
is it like the vision that you didn't believe because you believe enough in yourself to like do
Yeah.
your cardio, you believe enough to like go through your meal. So like what was it? Like what
it was,
kind of
that could
vision?
never happen to me. Like how can that never happen? Like that will never happen to me. That's how I would speak to myself in terms of like that's never going to happen to you. How do you think that will happen to you?
So you would
Even
you would go to your cardio,
Yeah.
and you would just be like, but it's never gonna happen.
But
You're going to step on stage and it's never gonna happen.
I just
so
can't
why
believe
bother?
it. Yeah, exactly.
But why bother?
Exactly.
But you did bother.
That's what I mean. So now I would generally tell myself like stop beating yourself up so much.
Yeah, just shut the fuck up.
Literally shut the fuck up. Even the lip raise as well. Exactly that. Exactly that. Like generally because yes, I believed in myself, but I definitely didn't believe in myself enough then. I kept on going because I still wanted the vision. I wanted the vision enough for it to happen, but I still didn't believe it could happen. That's how my mindset was. And I feel like now my mindset is so different in terms of like, I can believe in myself because I've done it. Do you know what I mean? But
Does it make you, here's my question, does it make you go harder though because you believe in yourself? That's
Yeah.
why it does?
yeah, I think it
So
makes me...
that's
yeah.
different. Okay.
Yeah. It makes
Okay.
me go harder. I think even before I was like, I want it so much, like I want it to happen. So let's go, like let's go harder. But I still in the back of my brain was like,
So you felt like you slacked?
that will, no, that will never happen. As in like, in the back of my brain, I'm like, I don't think that will happen. I don't think it can happen. But I do want it to happen. But do you think it will really happen? It was like two sides of the story. Do you know what I mean? Like one moment I'd be like, oh yeah, this can happen. And next, I don't think it will.
Yeah. You still, I mean, you still go through that. I
Yeah,
feel like it's
not
it
as
still
strongly
happen.
though, I don't
But
think.
what I'm trying to say and pinpoint for you, because I feel like you're hard on yourself right now. At the end of the day, when you were an amateur, you still got everything done.
Yeah.
to your 100%.
Yeah.
You're the only one who knows if you went to your 100%.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
would you tell that yourself? Like, I think it's part of your journey, you know? And I think the disbelief, like the doubts and stuff, it's fine. It's
Yeah.
fine to be there. Like, don't beat yourself up from like what you have. I think you should just tell her, like, don't worry that much.
Yeah.
Don't spend time to like worry too much, because when we worry, it's not during our workout, during our cardio, it's like for the rest of the time. And that's where you're not present because you're so consumed by worrying. It's just not worth the worry.
Yeah.
Just stop worrying. It's
Yeah.
so annoying. Like,
It's so annoying.
like
It
I
is.
remember not even being able to watch a Netflix show because I was like, but I could do so much more. I could
Yeah.
do my vacuums right now. I could do like glute kickback on the freaking sofa. I could do like abductors and
Yeah.
shit because my glutes. But namaste. You've done your things. Like, everything's going to be okay. Just stop worrying so
Yeah.
much. That's what I would tell my 17 years old self. God, so much worry. Worry about my mom cutting me with a tub of protein in my room because she would think it's like steroids. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like, stop worrying. Just talk to her.
Yeah.
Like, bring the tub in front of her. Read the ingredient for yourself. Please watch on Google. Like, stop worrying, you know? And everything's going to be so much like fine.
Yeah,
And
it
so
honestly
good.
is.
And so good. Yeah.
That's very good. Yes, that's very true. Good question. And the next one over there. Yeah, you go. Okay.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
You relay that question back.
I love that question. So the question that we just got asked, thank you for the question. So it was about nutrition. So how to get away from the junk food, away from the treats and the sugary things while maintaining your macros as protein. So basically, how to deal with not being hungry for protein and how to just be hungry for sugary stuff, which is basically all of us, right? Because cookies is way better than freaking chicken breast. Like, we all agree to this. We can all agree to this. My God. Ugh.
Yeah.
There's a recipe or no recipe, right? A meal plan is just words written on a sheet of paper. If you don't execute it, it's just word on a sheet of paper. So what's your mindset? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have a plan? Like, do you have something that works for you? Is it, if it's with your macros, like for me personally, is straight up meal plan. It's always going to be bodybuilding, meathead, 4 ounces of chicken per meals. I can tell you my diet right now. I know it by heart. 4 ounces of chicken, 4 meals out of 6. The other 2 are egg whites. I have carbs, oatmeal, sweet potatoes, or rice. And then I have avocado for fats. And I know that that's my recipe for the day, right? For the result that I want to bring. So that's how I treat my meal plan. Now, when it comes to craving, they happen. I can tell you all the tricks. Brush your teeth is a good one. Rinse your mouth with wash. I do that a lot. Go to bed. Just go to bed. Just go take a nap. Get out of your kitchen. I can tell you all of this, babe, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
don't fucking touch it.
Yeah.
It's not on the recipe. And if it is, don't beat yourself up for it. Eat the shit, enjoy it. I swear to God, it won't even taste that good. No, it might be actually. I have a good chocolate cake that's right over there. I can send you. That's really worth it. But no, honestly, it needs to be what you have set your mind to. And that's it. Girl, I guess.
Don't go down the aisles. Don't go down the aisle. Like, the aisles that you don't need to go down, don't even look at them. There's no need to even be down there if you don't need anything. Just see eyes for what you need.
I
you
get
know?
everything
Like,
for Aldo. Aldo is really happy. I
and
get
to be
him
fair,
the
I get stuff
Chick-fil-A.
for Max.
I
Like,
know.
I'll get. So if you have a significant other, you can just make them eat all the stuff that you want,
Don't
and like
do
that's
that.
fine.
Phoebe, that's like the worst fucking.
No, I'm joking. But
Max is like, no.
yeah,
Okay.
he's like, I don't mind. But no, I think grocery shopping as well. Like, if you go down the aisles that you don't need to go down and you end up like looking at things, you're gonna want them more because you can't have them and you're restricting them. That's gonna make you want it even more, like when it's just there. So there's no point just going down those aisles. Just try and avoid them if you can.
Honestly, it's always going to be there. You know?
Yeah, it
You
will
know what
always
I'm
be
saying?
there.
It's
Food's not going anywhere. Food is
It's not
literally
going anywhere. Now, a tip for your protein: find what you like, season your food.
Yeah. Oh my God, season your food, please. Because for the longest time in prep, I was like, I mean, someone told me like, you're not allowed to use seasonings. In the beginning of my, I know. The beginning of my prep, they're like, can't use seasoning. I was like, even paprika? Like, no, nothing.
Paprika?
Paprika,
No more
no?
paprika?
Nothing.
Damn,
Nothing.
that's crazy.
That was wild. That was back in like 2016, very long time. But
The no
season your
salt
food.
days.
Find something that you like. Like, you know, I like my little minced chicken with my low calorie
Minced.
pasta sauce. And like, I keep that probably, I mean, I'm not doing it now, but like we used to do that even before. Like, but I season my chicken now. Like, find something that you like. Find something you like, stick to it, and then execute, like you said, execute the plan.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna develop, you know, and
You might not get it right. You might not get it right straight away.
yeah,
And that's okay. But you keep going and you'll find your way. You'll find what you like, find what works for you. And it's just about then going from there.
yeah. Change your way of cooking, you know, shredded chicken, you know, and boiled chicken, and then you do chicken breast. You change, you switch, but eat your protein. Very important.
Yeah.
Eat your protein first, and then treat everything as a little dessert. You know, like if you have carbs, treat it after, but just eat it, and then you're just gonna develop. You know, I think it's the first time because I had about 4 months of season. As soon as I left the Arnold stage, I was like, okay, the Olympia next, right? So I was like, now I want to be intuitive with my eating, and normally, being off season, I'm super hungry. I'm unsatiable. I hate that word. Help me out. Unsatiable.
Yeah, you can't say, I
I cannot feel full. I
Yeah.
cannot feel full. But I was like, I'm going all in because I have 4 months, right? Like, I don't have time for reverse. I don't really do reverse, to be honest with you. But I was like, I really don't have time. I just want to go intuitive because I want to feel my ghrelin, my leptin being
In a good
leveled.
place.
And with the satisfaction that I had when I was like, damn, I'm full. Like, it just it sounds so fun to all of you girls when you're like, oh my God, she can do 20,000 calorie challenge, but I could do that every day. It fucking sucks. When you're actually like at dinner with friends and they're like all done and you're like, I could actually have everything that you have right now times 2 and still not be full. It sucks. So my goal was to feel satiated, and I reached that point and I was like, okay. And now I started not being hungry for my protein anymore. I was like, damn, Kim, can we do 4 meals? It's like, nope. Okay, then I'm gonna force feed. I'm gonna feel what bodybuilders feel like every day, because what the guys had the most time, like the hardest time. A good bodybuilders know how to eat. You need to know how to eat first. And I force fed for the first time in my life, and it was weird. I was like, I don't know what's worse. I don't know if it's even worse starving than like overfeeding. So I hear you with that, but just push through. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good question. Good question.
Yeah.
Another question. Oh, back here. Yeah. Oh, I like that question a lot. I like that a lot. Okay, so the question
Of course
was,
you do, because the posing portal.
I mean, the question was obviously, what's the conversation you have with yourself before you step on stage?
Right before
Like,
stepping on stage.
Right
Yep.
before stepping on stage, like before your heel hits that stage, you get in front of the judges. I mean,
Girls, line up.
yeah,
Line up.
yeah.
That's
There's so much is going on in that moment. I sometimes are like, what even goes on? But I mean, I don't
You're
know.
also H, right? Like you're never the first. I'm
yeah.
C. I'm like always like one of
yeah,
the
you're
like
one of
the
the
first.
first.
I don't even have time to think. My goal is always, please fall asleep. I just want to fall asleep. I just want to fall asleep backstage
That's
and just be like, all right, ladies, let's go. Okay.
Okay, go.
And I just have time to pump up. I go backstage and I'm like, showtime, baby.
Yeah.
Let's fucking show
Yeah.
them what we got.
Yeah.
And I just, I
think-
get into my
yeah.
little
zone.
Little
I just take
persona?
breaths. I think I breathe, like try and like focus on breathing, like a
Yeah.
lot, like to calm. Because obviously it's very nerve wracking. Even if you're not nervous of stepping on stage, it can still be
Oh, girl.
like,
Oh yeah, I
It's a
gotta
pass a
pee.
heart.
Like obviously, I gotta pee like right before stepping on stage. It's like okay,
I feel like that's nerves,
it's just
though.
nerves. It's just nerves. So that's probably the talk that I'm doing right now. It's like okay, I need to pee. No, it's just nerve. Okay, that's first talk number 1. After that, like, does it go blank with you? Like, does it go blank?
so I try and like,
What do
I
you
try and
think?
like take almost like have like an ultimate ego in a way. and just be like, in terms of for posing and for stage presence, everything, be like, turn on the sass and let's fucking go. Like, let's go. Like, that's kind of in my brain. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you're a bad bitch and fucking show it. Do you know what I mean? Like, standing backstage, like, you can do this. You can do this, walk it on, and then present. I think that's what I try and hype myself up a little bit to feel that, like, energy.
Yeah.
And then you perform. And that's the best feeling. Like, that's, I could prep, like, for, like, 40 weeks and just get that feeling. I'd be satisfied.
I know.
I love it. Like that little like before stage, like I used to hate it. Like fun story, like before, like I was so close, not to not stepping on stage, but my first ever show, I freaked out. Like I was about to step on stage and I was like to Max, like, why am I here? Like I'm in a bikini, in heels, about to pose. Like what is going on? Like why am I here? What am I doing? And as soon as I got on stage and I was like, this is epic. This is so, like this feeling of being on stage and being like, I've worked so hard to get to where I am now and I'm presenting it, showing it off.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling.
Do you think about that though, like before stepping on stage?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Not me.
No, that's what I feel. Like
oh,
that,
so you really hype yourself up. That's good.
I love that.
That's good. I don't.
Lauralie's like, I do not do that.
No.
She's like, I'm cold as anything backstage. I have to hype it up, like just because I love it. That like,
yeah. No, I mean, there's girls that like think about the music and stuff. I just know there's nothing. Oh, you know what? I may think about where's my mom and my dad?
Like, like where?
Yeah,
they
where
are.
in the audience, like where they're sitting. You know, I don't know where they're sitting. You know,
Yeah.
hopefully I get to see them.
That's more of an
that might be like something I
that's
would
more
do.
of an on stage thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's Max? Like, where's Max's head? Or like, where are my like parents or whatever? Like, I'll be looking around like for someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then
Find your like jam. You know, I don't know.
inner person, like find your inner, like for me, that's what I do anyway. Before I go on
I mean,
stage,
posing because we're about to perform. Like
yeah,
that's one
performance.
thing. It's
I
like,
look at it as a performance, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I always, you know, I like now. I always try to stay kind of like backstage because I'm like, I'm doing my entrance. Like I don't, you know how they put you on the side sometimes and like you start seeing the judges. I'm like, I don't want to see the judges.
No,
I
yeah.
just want to like come out and just like do like.
Yeah,
you know?
you just want to walk it straight on and just make
Yeah.
an entrance there. I love that. No, that's a good question. Thank you so much for that. I like that question. Okay, another
I hope
question.
that answers something. You know, sometimes I'm
Oh,
like,
no, it did. I did. It's good. Oh.
Mao
My name is Mao.
from Japan. I'm from Japan.
I like that. I mean, so the question was like, have you experienced binge eating post-show and how would we control it if you do? I definitely have, in terms of like, because post-show there's always that, it's hard because there's always that like, you think you can keep going and you're just like, let's just keep eating because you want to eat. You feel like food is going somewhere for some reason, but it's not. Like for some reason, once you've had a taste of whatever you're wanting, either sweets or whatever you've been craving prep, and then you feel like, oh, it's going somewhere. You know, I have to, you know, I've got a few months now and then prep starting soon, so I have to eat as much as I can. And I think now, I don't get it now, definitely not as bad, but I feel like I still sometimes do have that thing of like, is it going? It's not going anywhere. So just stop. Like, you don't have to keep eating, you know? I definitely don't buy as much now. Like, I used to buy all the snacks, like, post-show, which is definitely one of my tips is, like, just don't buy things until your post-show. Buy, like, one thing if you want to, but don't, like, create a cupboard or, like, a basket. Because I've done it. I've seen
Babe,
people...
listen.
You look at me like head tilt, like...
Like all the limited edition shit, like
but it goes.
through
it goes,
Halloween,
it's so sad.
through this, girl, like all the special
But
things.
try not.
Oh my God, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
and
no,
I think,
no.
like you said, it's like, do I need to eat that much? No. I think the thing, when you first compete, it's like, you get a couple sweets after the show, like, oh, damn, I look shredded. Like,
Yeah.
I love this pump. Like,
Yeah.
no, there's veins everywhere. And then second day, and then you try to push it, and you're like, how much can I eat and still kind of look okay with my body composition? And then you start pushing, and then the water, and then it gets just messy. Binge eating, Mao, sorry, I cut you off because I want to get back to you.
No, you go.
Obviously, with your experience, I want to go back to you. But binge eating is an eating disorder. Like it's a lot more serious than just eating because you're hungry after a show, right? Binge eating is literally going into like a fucking headspace and you disconnect, and the next thing you know, there's like no more bread in your cupboard. Like you ate a whole Ezekiel bread, like loaf, disgusting, like for no purpose of no taste, and you just go. With that being said, I've never been diagnosed with binge eating disorder at all, but I know for a fact I ate a whole loaf of freaking Ezekiel bread for no reason, and it's absolutely it's disgusting. And it was cold, and it was not even toasted, and there was no butter on it. Like there was no reason. So that's when I know I was like, oh fuck, okay. So here's the thing, with me and Phoebe, I can speak on you too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We unplug. It's like we're done competing, unplug, and we just enjoy. But I think the fact that we know that we don't need to eat, there's no need to eat. There's a way to prevent. I think nowadays, if you have a good coach or you're listening to good podcasts like ours, try to plan and strategize your season, your shows with 2, 3, 4 weeks, a month after, and be like, okay, this is my plan continuing after, right? Like I said, after the Arnold, I left the stage, right? But I was like, Olympia, next. This is my plan. This is where my goal shift. So my goal is not physical anymore. It's everything hormonal. So my goal is to get my leptin, my ghrelin back. I want my body blood work, body composition. And I was like, if I reach a perfect blood work in 4 months or 3 months or whenever I was giving myself the time to do that, I don't even care if I gain 75 pounds. I switch my mind. Again, mindset is everything. So just shift your goal into something else. If you want to shift your goal into food, there's consequences. You know what I'm saying? But there's consequences to anything, and it's not consequences that have such a bad connotation, but it's not consequences like it's bad. But you just need to know how to deal with it. And if you know you don't have control, and if you know you feel good with a meal plan all year through, then you need to stick to your meal plan. People are like, why do you gain weight? Because I'm not doing an hour and a half of cardio every day, and because I'm not eating 700 calories anymore. I don't have my food scale. I don't have my human scale, body weight scale. Well, there's consequences. And it's the fact that I put on weight. I deal with it really well. It was probably the most asked question on my social media. I'm like, girls, I have muscle. So there's like, if I put 20 pounds, it looked like 40. But I don't know. It was such I had to face that, but I had literally no feeling whatsoever. I know I'm going like a little bit overboard with the question of binge eating, but again, girl, it's all in your mind. Like it's all in your mindset. I don't know how you did you heal yourself by going back in prep?
No,
Okay.
I think my mindset is definitely different in terms of like you said before, it's enjoying, and knowing what's the difference between enjoying and going overboard? Do you know what I mean? And establishing that first before it being like, okay, I can go out for a meal with my significant other and enjoy food, not have to restrict. I can have a 3-course meal, dessert, some wine, whatever, and I'm happy with that. That's fine. But then are you then going to go home after that meal and then have more shit after that on top? What's the need for that? Do you know what I mean? Unless you're not satisfied.
Yes. And I think most of the time it's because you don't eat all day. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
I won't eat all day because tonight I'm having this meal, right? So let me just save. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just I'm going to go ham. I'm ready. And I would just go, and then it just never stops because they're like, wait, tomorrow I need to go back on track, or I need to now I'm going to have to do cardio or cut calories. And then you just set everything off. So I love a little good chicken breast before going to the restaurant now, because now I can sit down and enjoy. Because I would sit down at the restaurant at Cheesecake Factory, as soon as the bread touches the table, I'm gone. I'm not even here. You don't even have I don't have a dinner with my friend anymore. I'm just gone. It's just me and the bread. And the next one. And the next one. And the next one. And I mean, you live and you learn though. So give yourself some grace time. I've binge eat after a show. I've starved myself after a show. That's being a pro, right? That's being after pro show. I literally was I need to stay in shape for bombshell photo shoot
Yeah.
all year long. So I was under eating on protein, but all I was eating was protein all day. I was eating 3 meals for like 4 ounces of chicken, or like just chicken all day. But then I go at the Olympia, 0 improvement,
Yeah.
just skinny. And then it's like, that's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I had no mindset. Like I just had no switch. And when it's just, if your mind is always physical only, you're never going to grow. You're never going to make connection. It's like, how do you want your life to be? You want to just be valued for body composition, for like a number on your freaking scale? Are you kidding? The judge don't even know your weight on your scale. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you need to like aim for bigger. And I know different culture is obviously different, but it's not really different. It's about the mind. I get there's like pressure, and there's probably like a lot of unhealthy practices. Like, I've done the tilapia diet 7 times a day. Like,
Oh, so have I.
and I know how it feels after that for a long period of time. And go get your blood work done, because once you see what's inside of you and you're like, oh, fuck, you won't want to even have what the tilapia diet giving you, because now it's going to be, damn, I want those levels to be regulated.
How first? That was good.
Yeah. Good question.
That was a
Nell.
good question. Thank you. Okay.
Of course, babe.
Another question. Yeah, you go. Ooh. So the question was like, well, first part of the question was kind of like, how do you, how?
So basically, in the sport that we're in, I was talking about loneliness, like the
Yeah,
sport
yeah,
being
yeah.
very lonely, and they're very alone. And then our relationship, how precious it is, like how we found ourselves, but also why we think it's worth putting energy
Yeah.
in and like fighting for, because especially women to women, very, very hard to find.
Yeah.
In a competitive sport, but just in general, I think just
Just in general.
In general.
When you said like it's a lonely sport, I do definitely agree. But then there's some part of me there I'm like, it's not in a way, because there's so many girls that we step on stage with, and we're not obviously all close with everyone, but I feel like you can definitely create a bond with people that you're stepping on stage with. I think sometimes maybe the competition in a way sometimes can get in the way, and think, oh, if she's in the same class as me, like, we can't be friends because, but I don't think that should stop you ever.
I don't think it ever has stopped me from getting a friendship, but the
No.
question was like, why do we fight for it? You know what I'm saying? Like, why are we strongly bonded? Because I think what would you say to that?
I think,
Because I have more, like, I've traveled with a lot of competitors. Like, I've been close to a lot of them. And some of us have not the same strong
connection.
connection. I
Yeah.
think it's like meeting a soulmate. She's my soulmate.
Aww.
No, but seriously, it's very rare. I'm very blessed, but I think it's because you're very secure with yourself. I have a lot of admiration for her as well as a human being, and it's just because you're so raw. I can see right through you. You can see right through me, and girl, if you go on the Olympiad stage and you freaking win, like, you better believe.
No, girl. Like,
Girl, listen. I'm always going to be a number one supporter for everything, because I know your heart. And I came in the sport like trying to connect and trying to have friends, and being liked was the ultimate goal. But I realized, like, I don't need everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have everything I need. And that's when I was like, okay, let me feed into those relationships that actually are precious for me. And she saw all, like, the vulnerable side. And, sometimes, especially with competitors, they're like, I don't want to show my vulnerable side. But that's where the connections are made.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you able to be vulnerable with and feeling safe? And that girl, like, opened that spot for me. And I'll forever be grateful for that, because I have no family here, and I'm not trying to be like freaking petty at all. But yeah, it gets lonely, and I get it. And for a long time, I thought I had friends. I was calling them friends, but it wasn't reciprocated. But at this point, to be honest, Tatiana, I'm friends with everybody. I'm honestly friends with everybody. But, maybe they're not, but that's in their hands now. I control what I do and like how I show up in people's life. You're always gonna have a friends with me. If anyone is calling me and asking me for anything that I know I can offer them, like as far as comfort, friendship, ear to listen to, I'm gonna give my all-time best to be that person for them. But gratefully, like Phoebe, like get a friendship in me. I don't even know if you get something out of me, bro. I think it's just like, it's probably just like a fucking one-side situation.
Oh my
I don't
God,
even
no,
know.
it is not. No, it's. I feel like, so our friendship generally, when you said the word vulnerable, I feel like that definitely kind of sparks something. We can both be just vulnerable, like together, and be completely comfortable with that. And I think that's something you can find in other people. Like I think you just have to be like comfortable enough to be able to just do that, you know? Like you show vulnerability in your, like towards me, to like, and I'm very, very grateful for you to just be able to open up to me, and just be your complete raw self. And I can be the exact same with you. And I could say shit and it could sound absolutely crazy and you'd still be like, okay, like whatever. And that's the friendship I feel like that we have, and that I'm very grateful for that. And I think just for anyone kind of listening and that wants to create some sort of friendship kind of like this, you can just don't be afraid to open up. Obviously, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes you're going to open up to wrong people, or you know, it might not be reciprocated back, but don't be afraid to be completely shut off to anyone, because I think we were both very much the same person. We would open up to everyone and be happy with everyone and friends with everyone.
Overshare.
And we found each other through that. And I think now it's like honing in on that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So don't be scared to shut off. Like, no, sorry, don't be scared to open up. Don't be scared to shut off. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, give yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance to open up and like find these people. And for us, like, I love that we've been able to create this and we've got all of you in this room, and to just have a good workout together, feel things together, and have this like event that you can talk about. And hopefully you've met some new people like today and stuff like that. And like for me, that's more than anything. Like, I love that.
1000%. And we spoke about that. It's funny because yesterday I realized, I was like, damn, we don't even have like really the same sponsor. Like we're like,
Yeah.
and it's really like connection above anything else. And it's so precious to me because I know she's going to be in my life probably like until I'm freaking 88. Whatever I do.
You know when you see those little like reels and memes when you see like the
Yeah.
little grandmas like sitting down with coffee or like wine, I'm like, that's gonna be us at 80.
Yeah.
Like we're just gonna be sitting down just chilling. Like, yeah. But yeah, I think just being okay to be vulnerable with people.
Yeah.
Just not being afraid of it, for sure. So yeah, I like that question. Thank you so much for that question. Anyone else? Any other questions? Yes. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so when we retire, sorry, my prep brain, not gonna lie, is kicking in a little bit now. So, but when we kind of retire, are we gonna want any form of, you know, connection still to the competing world? 100% for me, yeah. I think so. I mean, I could finish competing. My goal generally is to, you know, when I finish competing, if I'm not on stage, I still very much want my career and what I'm building right now to be very much part of it, 100%, because this is who I am. Like, I love this sport and who it's made me become. Like, I love it. I honestly do. And I don't think I would ever be the type of person to just be like, yep, bye, see you later, I'm not on stage anymore, and that's it. Like, I just couldn't. Like, I love it. I'd still go to shows. I'd still show up. I'd still want to do this and give advice to the younger generation or the people that are wanting to do what we've done. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I would want to do. I wouldn't want to be completely stopped and be like, nope, cut out. Like,
you've done so many like cool stuff as well. Like, you don't commentary for the shows, and then you do your YouTube videos, and then it's all sport related, because thankfully so we're in a sport where like you learn things every day. You never know everything. So I think that's the beauty of being the sport that we're in, and it's so great. But you've done so many like fun stuff, and you have, obviously you're posing, and now it's growing. You have coaches under you, which is amazing, you know?
And you have so much as well, and you have so much to offer, like what you want to offer in terms of like building up your brand.
I know, it's all here though. It's not on paper, but we're working on that.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
I know. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's kind of what I would want to do and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that question. Thank you. That was good. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Ooh. Any other questions? Any questions at all? Yes.
That's the
Whoa!
question. That's the question that we actually like cut off.
Yeah, we were like,
remember
we were
that?
like, yeah.
Let's just not. That was the only time we ever edited the podcast, and we're like,
We were like, shall we?
let's just keep that for another time.
So
And
we're gonna
I
keep
guess
it
today
peachy.
is
Well,
today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to answer that?
Where's Aldo? No, I'm kidding.
I mean,
Listen.
so
Does that complete your question? How do you manage your sex? It's part of, the relationship. You know what I'm saying? For us, it's not even an agreement. It's just he pours in my cup, I pour into his cup. You know what I'm saying? So like we keep it a priority. And it's hard because, babe, I got to be selfish. I got to, but do you really? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I want to go for the extra mile that like I'm hoping for my partner to like go the extra mile. Girl, it's spicy enough for me to just like stay awake, okay? Sometimes. So like, that's how, no, but yeah, that's as far as I can go.
Yeah, you're like,
think.
this is-
Yeah, I would be like, listen, listen. Yeah.
I think I agree. I think in terms of like you said, pouring it into each other's cups in any way, I think that's what is a priority on prep still, like making sure that they are happy ultimately
Yeah.
in either way. I think that's
Aldo that's his love language, okay? That's as far as I can go. It's love language needs to be filled every day. That's all I can say, okay?
That was an interesting question. We're getting real girl talking here.
So yeah, no, I think it's like figuring out your love language. For me,
Yeah.
it's act of service, like 100%. And I figured that out. And Aldo would be like, love language is universal. I'm like, no, you have a very physical love language. Like, trust me. Like, your love language is physical. And that's how I can show up to your life. Because at first I showed up in his life, like, doing act of service, doing my love language. I'm like, hold on. And, okay, this is how I pour into my partner's cup. So,
Yeah.
do you guys have figured out your...
Yeah, I feel like I definitely agree with that in terms of like figuring out people like what you want out
Or how to be loved.
Yeah.
It's really how to be
loved,
loved, you know?
yeah.
How to be loved and how you can hear someone love. Aldo's love is physical, for sure. For sure.
Good question.
Yeah.
Very good. Very in depth. That was good. Okay. Any other
I
questions?
think we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
all
one
have
more?
our, like,
we got one
now
more.
it's
Yeah,
like,
they're at the back.
time
They're like
lapse is, like,
time out
over here,
Right.
time out.
One more.
Right before
one
the
more question because I
question.
saw one hand and then. Ooh. I gave up university for bodybuilding, so
You did,
I
right?
mean, I
But-
wouldn't say do that, obviously,
How long?
because
Yeah.
I mean, so I went to university for business, and I wanted to create a business. I thought I needed a bit like a business degree for that. So, and some things you do need all that type of thing, but for me, education, like sitting down in a room and that being it, for me, that's not how I work. So I feel like I needed to go out there and do more. So when I started doing bodybuilding, I was like, this is actually something I want to drive and do better in. That's something, for me, I was like, right, let's see where my priorities lie. University for me in general, and I'm not saying for anyone if they're in college or anything like that to obviously quit, because that's not something I want to portray. But I didn't want to go forward with it because I was like, I can do other things that I want to do outside of it. So yeah, so for me, prioritizing things. I mean, I still try and like even now, social life, like when I was in Canada, Toronto, I was doing other things. I was walking. I was going to, we went out. I went to a boat party, which was great. Like, but I bought all my meals. I bought all my water. I didn't, have drinks or anything like that. It was the goal was still very much in mind, but I still wanted to do and live life as well. So obviously now we're coming to very, very close time. So it's now you got to be selfish. You got to cut those things down.
Yeah.
But for me, I very much still want to live when I'm competing. I'm not, like we kind of speaking about before, I'm not just competing and prep and this, that, the other. I'm Phoebe. I do all these other things as well,
Yeah. My response to your question, the word balance is the most triggering freaking
know.
word for me. You don't seek for balance in prep, baby girl, because there's none, okay? So it's going to be all in, and for you to accomplish everything, it's going to be listed, right? Do you skip the dentist appointment? You don't. So treat your workout session as a dentist appointment. You fucking show up, you have an hour, and you leave. That's how I was treating things. I had an hour. So I wasn't talking to anybody. Gym was not my social time. If you want social time at the gym, it's fine. If you want to treat your social time, then girlies, I have 15 minutes between this and this. This is your time. This is your time on earth. Like, you're alone. You make it whatever you want to make it. And if you have to treat it for the next 12 weeks of your life to accomplish a dream of mine that makes you happy, do you think people around you don't want that for you? If they don't, better say that goodbye. It's like natural selection. It's great. It works amazing. It works amazing. And all those like people-pleasing tendencies, they kind of go away too at the same time, and you blame it on prep. It's great. Like, it's awesome. And the real people stick around. The real people stick around, baby girl. And for college, I was, my God, the girl with the freaking gallon and the cold Tupperware. I've done it all. Like I said, put it in your schedule. Be very regimented and treat it as such. And that's what has been the biggest game changer for me this year, is going back exactly to when I was in college. I was like, damn, how did I, 4 a.m. in the morning and posing routine, like it's crazy. But it just brings another type of accomplishment within you. So I wish you like luck with everything, and I hope that you really figure it out. Yeah. But everything is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an incredible last question, and we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for listening. Anyone in the live, obviously in the live audience and listening now, thank you so much. It honestly, that was emotional. I'm not going to lie.
That was
very
yeah.
emotional. I love that a lot. Thank you so much for everything, my girl. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy you're here. You still feel surreal. I'm so happy, and I'm gonna see you around. You're leaving next week, which is sad.
I'm gonna then see you after, like.
I know. So we're gonna go back to our old little Zoom situation.
But it's okay.
I know it's okay. We're gonna tune back in. Everyone that we're watching on YouTube, Spotify, that has been watching. This is our 20th episode. We're wrapping up,
Yay!
and we keep on going. So please leave a comment if you want another event like this.
Yeah.
Please let us know.
Oh, people definitely want another event like this. I think
next
there
year,
was a lot of
next year.
There was a lot of people that couldn't come to this, and I think obviously thank you for everyone in the audience now, like we're looking at now. Thank you so much for coming, and we're excited for the next live event, whenever that is. But we're gonna do more, 100%.
Yes.
So
love you guys. Subscribe, like. That's your job. Go.
Subscribe. Subscribe, like, comment, leave everything behind. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye.